Nick.
Oh, thank you very much, Karishma. So my professional background is 11 years ago. I graduated from Eastern Michigan University with a sociology degree, and I came out and found a position as a business intelligence report developer. And I was creating reports and passing them along to different analysts and data scientists for them to be able to look at things. And then the stock market crashed. And I was fortunate enough to be in the position and retain my position. I wasn't let go. And I grew the skills of a data manager by really building more databases to help support those data scientists and analysts. About 5 years after that, I moved into a role of a product owner on a Scrum team and software development type stuff. But then after they decided that I was not really a fit in that role, they asked that I, step aside to a different position, to where I got I left the company and got my job at IBM Watson Health. And because of my background with the building databases and data scientists, or for the data scientists, I was a perfect fit within the IBM world. I've always had a knack for math and logic, and so it was really just kind of the perfect job for me to really fill that role. Today, I also do have to state that everything that I am saying is on behalf of myself and not anything representative of IBM or IBM Watson Health. But I am here to provide a little bit of insight into the career path of a data manager. I'm also a blogger at Vocation Cultivation, where I speak about emotional intelligence and leadership. And so it keeps my plate pretty busy.
That's fantastic, Nick. That was really interesting. Great. So, Nick, what are the roles and responsibilities of a data manager?
So the number one thing that a data manager does is ensure data integrity. And with this, it means that we have security of the data, that we're not placing it in, we're not mishandling it. We keep things encrypted if they are sensitive pieces of information, and we ensure the accuracy of the data. So if we're passing along, inaccurate information to data scientists and analysts who we work very closely with, they can't do their job. So the number one role of a data manager is to ensure that the data is accurate and secure. We do this by cleaning the data using some small scripts, if then else logic. We ensure that different mappings of the data. So if we are trying to match together two different sources of information, everything is going to line up in the very end, and we're not going to have to provide two different databases. We can put them all into one. We have to manage the punctuality of deliverables as well, since everything really starts for a data scientist and an analyst with a database. We're the first step in that process. We have to ensure that that database is ready and available when a scientist needs it. We also have to communicate. We're the bridge between the business side and the technical world. I've been on a lot of conversations with people who use the reporting tools that I help create, where they don't really care how everything is done. They just care about the end process. And so when I start to talk about my job, I have to ensure that I speak in business terms with them, but I can also take things back and speak in a technical mindset with my colleagues.
Fantastic. So what is your typical day as a data manager?
Within a typical day of a data manager, we may have to email a late supplier. So the number one thing that a lot of data shops, they're collecting data from outside sources. They're not necessarily the ones originating the data. So we have to make sure that we are on top of people providing that information to us, because like I said, we are the ones providing the information up the chain. So we have to ensure that everything is to us promptly. And a lot of times, different suppliers, they don't want to necessarily provide that data in a timely manner. We might have to chase down bad information. So like I said, we are receiving data from outside sources, and we have to track down exactly where in the process piece of bad information came through on. If it's something that we've done, we have to ensure that we make the change and communicate effectively what we actually did to ensure that that issue does not happen again. If it's with a data supplier that's providing us the information, we have to ensure that they are making the change and they can replace that information in the future. We have to identify logic enhancements. So we can't necessarily rely on our logic, that we set up years ago to be correct and accurate all the way through. Like I said, different data suppliers, they might have changed something on their side. And so what used to be, a code that said, that provided the one piece of information, it may have changed a year and a half later. And so we want to make sure it's representative of the information at the current moment. Lastly, we also construct data models. So that a database can efficiently run, we have to ensure that everything links together. And with the data model in place, we can provide that up the chain as well to ensure that our analysts and data scientists know how to actually utilize our databases that we're building.
Wow, that's really interesting, I'm sure. So, Nick, how to break into data manager role?
If you are interested in being a data manager, I would say that you would need to look for any position that's in business intelligence. Analytics are going to be a key indicator that they've got data behind the scenes. And with just the influx of data and how companies are really utilizing it on a day-to-day basis, there's really a need for data managers, the people with the technical skills to actually create the databases. So really there's so many different ways that you can break into it. You can apply for a entry-level position and try to work your way up a little bit. You can also start with, if you had a little bit more of an entrepreneurial mindset, you could create your own shop. And if you have enough Excel skills, really just go out there and start asking your local businesses, hey, do you have data that I can really help you with? Get it into a usable working data set and provide it back to you, and perhaps provide insight on them. So really there's multiple paths that you can choose. It depends on how far you actually want to take the responsibility on yourself or go out and find a position